All right, what is up, everybody? We are back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. The Indiana Pacers, they have defeated the Knicks in Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals to win the series, and they're moving on to the NBA Finals. We're going to talk all about it here in today's video. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, liking, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I really appreciate it. It really helps it a lot. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers and closer as the days go on. So I'll support on the channel. Very much appreciated. Link to my Twitter and all that stuff down in the description below. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. The Indiana Pacers have done it. They are going to the NBA Finals. First, I'll talk about the game, specifically Game 6. You saw the Knicks came out, dominated Game 5. Jalen Brunson put on a heck of a show. And, they won Game 5. And like I was saying last video, I was like, Game 6, this is going to be the real game to see is a comeback brewing. Because we see a lot of times where team goes down 3-1, they win Game 5, and it's like, oh, shoot, and then Game 6, they get beat. And that's what happened here tonight. The Pacers came out and won. This is a very interesting, very close first half. First half, the Pacers came out, definitely, you could tell right away, a lot more energy, a lot more pace to their game, and it's really Pascal Siakam. Pascal Siakam had an amazing first half. He was really keeping the Pacers afloat offensively because no one else could really do much for Indiana. And really, it was the turnovers. Which has been a big factor to the entire series. Turnovers were really a big key for Indiana. They're again not getting easy points in transition, and running with pace. For the Knicks, they got OG to step up big in the first half. Despite no one else really. Brunson and Towns both had kind of mediocre to not great first halves. But the rebounding also, Mitchell Robinson was huge in this first half. Rebounding was really a big key, and it was only a 4-point game at halftime. Despite I felt like Indiana was like really in control. Yeah, it was only a 4-point game because the rebounding and extra possessions and all that stuff. Get to the third quarter, and that's where the game flips. Indiana came out red hot to start the third quarter. It was a pace. It was turnovers more. Pascal Siakam, you got Thomas Bryant came in and hit a couple threes early in this third quarter, where he lost his rotational spot because Tony Bradley was doing good, but with Tony Bradley being hurt, they had to throw Thomas Bryant in, and he had a great game coming off the bench. You had Nembhard's defensive energy. He had actually a really good stat line, but his defensive energy, and they made the switch of putting Nembhard on Brunson except for Nesmith. Nesmith, you can tell his ankle was still bothering him. He only played 19 minutes tonight. He was in foul trouble, and he was decent in the minutes he did play, but they made a switch of putting Nembhard on Brunson. And for this entire series, it was Nesmith being the key because Nesmith was able to be rough enough with Brunson and be aggressive, while also fighting over screens, while also not picking up fouls. Everyone else could kind of do it, but they couldn't stop from fouling. And this game, it felt like before the game, Nesmith told Nembhard all of his secrets. Like, okay, this is how you do this, this is how you do this. Because Nembhard was guarding him amazing. There's a couple times where he did go over he only had 2 fouls in this game, which is really, testament to him for his defense. But his defensive energy and his presence, being kind of like an enforcer, getting under the Knicks' skin, like that was his game. I felt like Nembhard, I said the last couple games, Nembhard hasn't really made a big impact on the series. He has not been great in this series. But this game, where they really needed it, he came out and showed out. And then, yeah, the Knicks, just a lot of just self-inflicted wounds. Bad turnovers, not great shot selection. The transition defense for the entirety of the game was not great. So the Knicks, Pacers have a big third quarter, big start to the third quarter, and a big end to the third quarter, where the last couple minutes of the third quarter for the Knicks was bad. Deuce McBride took some bad shots. There's a 1-on-2 fast break, and Josh Hart threw the ball off the rim, and then they came down and gave up an easy dunk by Halliburton on the other end. Not a lot of effort shown, and then we get to the fourth quarter, and that's where the Pacers kind of take their toll on the Knicks. That's where Halliburton turns up. He starts, attacking the basket, playmaking. Pascal hit some big shots. Nembhard hit a big three-pointer. Obi Toppin, the last 3 minutes of this game, was getting blocks and dunks and just putting the finishing touches on his old team in New York. And the Knicks, you definitely saw they kind of just were scrambling. They felt really flustered in the fourth quarter. A lot of just got to throw up shots, bad turnovers, bad defense. Their focus was just gone. Guys stopped shooting. It was a bad end to the Knicks, and the Pacers ended up winning this game by 17, and now they are Eastern Conference champions. Stats in this game: fast break points off turnovers. You can point to that easy. Indiana 25 fast break points. New York 10. Indiana 34 points off turnovers. Knicks 13. Just points off turnovers and fast break points has been a big thing in this entire series. Indiana had a good shooting night too. 54% of the field. They shot 51% from three, hit 17 threes. Only missed 3 free throws. 30 assists tonight, forced 17 turnovers. Just a great game from Indiana Raw. Pascal Siakam, 31 points, 5 rebounds, 10 for 18. He was a plus 25. Felt like in the first half, when not a lot of things were going for Indiana, Indiana was still kind of trying to get into the flow of things. It was Pascal Siakam. And I think Pascal has had a really good series. You know, he had a big game 2. I think he had game 3 or game 4, one of those 2 games. He had another big night. And when I think it's like when he scores 30 plus, Pacers haven't lost a game in this postseason or something like that. And he's been just awesome. Like I've been a big fan of Pascal for the last few years. I feel like Pascal is one of the more underrated guys in the league. I mean, he's a guy no one really talks about when you bring up, basketball or bring up the pace. Like Pascal's not a guy that kind of gets lost in the shuffle a little bit. But Pascal Siakam is really freaking good, man. I mean, guy can score on all 3 levels. He gets to the post. It could score. Has a lot of moves there. Good mid-range player. Not an amazing 3-point shooter, but tonight he hit 3. You know, he has games like that where he hit 3. He can get to the free throw line. He's a pretty solid defender. He gets out in transition and runs. Doesn't have really a thing in his game that is like bad. He doesn't have really a big deficiency. You know, he's not an elite passer, but he can get passes in. He's not an elite defender, but he can guard up when he needs to. Like, he can handle the ball pretty solidly. Like, he's one of those guys I feel like is always going to make an impact at some moment on the court. And tonight was big. He's had a great series. And Pascal, winning guy, man. And they got Tyrese give you 21, 6, and 13. Had a big fourth quarter. You know, him and Obi Toppin were playing really well. He had some really nice passes. Hit that crazy long 3 to kind of seal the deal. But just an amazing fourth quarter. Coming off, game 5 where he only had 8 points. Not aggressive. He came out a lot more aggressive in this game. Especially in the fourth quarter. He's taking a lot of those floater, little mid-range shots because Cat was dropping on every single time. So there's a couple of times where he hit a 3, a couple of times where he just got to the rim and got to the floater game, which is not something you see super often. I would like to see more of that from Tyrese, but you saw a great deal of that. And then, you got other guys. I mean, they had, the entire starting 5 last game. Pascal Siakam was the only starter that scored in double digits. Today, all 5 starters scored double figures. Andrew Nembhard, 14, 8 assists, 6 steals, 6 for 12 from the field. Again, his impact was great. He was a plus 25. Miles Turner gives you 11 points. He had a great start to this game. Nesmith only gives you 10 with 5 fouls in 19 minutes, but he did his thing. And then, Obi Toppin get 18 off the bench. Thomas Bryant gives you 11 off the bench. Just big for Indiana. Now they're moving on. I'm going to talk about the Knicks first, and then we'll get to Indiana back again. But for the Knicks, tough night for them. I mean, credit to OG. He gives you 24. He took 18 shots. He was trying, Cat, not a great game. He ends with 22 and 14, but not a great game from Cat. Didn't make a 3 in this game. 4 fouls. Not great defensively. We know Cat's not a great defender, but man, was he just getting picked apart the entire time. And offensively, couldn't really do enough to kind of, combat that. Jalen Brunson only gives you 19 points, 5 turnovers, negative 18. And then Mikal gives you 15, 5 turnovers. Just a really tough game. I mean, the effort level was definitely, especially in the fourth quarter, not great. It feels like not only in just this game, but the entire series, this felt more like the Knicks lost this series more than Indiana won this series. And that's not a discredit to Indiana at all, because Indiana came out and they were great. The better and more effort, the team that wanted it more deserved to win. And that's what Indiana did. I'm not saying Indiana got lucky or anything like that. Like, Indiana played a heck of a game or a heck of a series. You know what I mean? Like, they won it. But the Knicks had a lot of moments where this series could definitely be flipped on its head. Like game 1, you have a 17-point lead in the fourth quarter, and you end up choking that away. Game 2, Pacers just out-efforted you. And that's just not something that should happen in the playoffs. Like the game 2 is definitely a game came down to effort and a lot of interesting plays that just didn't go their way. Game 3, you have the 20-point comeback. Game 4, you had moments where you definitely could have won this game and just couldn't take advantage of it at the end. And in this game today, where it was a close first half, you come out in the third quarter and so many turnovers, bad fouls, guys not be able to play up to the level that we think they can play up to. Just a lot of self-inflicted wounds for the Knicks. This entire series, every game you could point to a certain stretch, even the games that they won. They had to come back from down 20 in game 3 to be able to win that game. Game 5 is kind of the only game where you could kind of be like, they were in control of it. Even though the Pacers, I said last game, Pacers had some moments where you're like, oh, cool, oh, shoot, this could be the run. But then Jalen Brunson shut it down. And Jalen Brunson had to be kind of a superstar-ish, like high level to win that game. But you can point at every game at certain stretches. You're like, the Knicks lost that one. Like I feel like the Pacers closing quarters. I felt like Indiana 90% of the quarters in the series, Indiana closed them out better. Like there's a lot of times where it was a close quarter, but the Pacers won the last 3 minutes, and that those little minutes here and there add up during a game. So yeah, Cat, he had some moments where he looked good, had some moments where he did not look good. This is one of those games where he did not play good. Jalen Brunson, unfortunately, couldn't have a superstar series by the numbers because the Pacers defense, got to credit them, Neesmith and them hard doing their thing. Um, OG, yeah, you give credit to OG because at least OG, he went out there with a lot of effort. I feel like he's a Nick that wanted the most in this series and in this game. Mikal, his offense was not great. Josh Hart, not a great series at all. Lost his starting spot. Not really a plus offensively. The only thing he kind of did well was his rebounding and got a couple steals, but that's kind of it. Um, the guys, Deuce McBride has some moments. That game three, he was a big factor of that game three comeback win. Not great tonight, you know. Mitchell Robinson was good in the minutes he played, but he's just not a guy who could play a whole lot of minutes, unfortunately. But yeah, just a really tough series loss in the Knicks. And this series loss is definitely going to hurt. It's going to sting. Because again, this series could be completely fun. This could have been maybe a 5 or 6 game series for the Knicks. It really could be. We could be sitting here right now with the Knicks holding up the trophy as we speak, with the Pacers doing that right now. Like, it really could be. But just self-inflicted wounds and just not being able to execute certain easy things. So many times, especially in this game, so many times there's just lazy passes. Mikal Bridges had 5 turnovers in this game. How do you even have the ball enough for Mikal to have 5 turnovers? I don't know. Jalen Brunson had 5 turnovers. There are a couple that were bad, but, he's the guy that has the ball most of the time, so it's like whatever. But Mitchell Robinson, 2 turnovers. Anthony Towns, 2 turnovers. Josh Hart, 3 turnovers. It's just, I don't know. Josh Hart only had 1 turnover, but he had 3 fouls. I'm sorry, I looked wrong. Like, that 1 turnover was a disgusting turnover. Like, just a lot of bad things from the Knicks. A lot of bad for the Knicks. Unfortunate. I mean, they got it this far, so you got to give them credit. They got to the conference finals, not something you haven't done in 25 years. You have some good things here, but it's definitely time to take that next step. And I'm talking more about that when I do my looking episode on the Knicks, which will probably be out maybe tomorrow or Monday. One of those 2 days. We'll see. For the Pacers, now we can talk about the Indiana Pacers. They're in the NBA Finals. If you would have said that to somebody back in December when they were 10 and 15, or even before the playoffs started, if you would have said the Pacers are going to be representing the Eastern Conference, people would have looked at you like you were crazy. But looking at this playoff run, and just taking record and taking regular season out of your brain, and just watching the entirety of the playoffs and watching every playoff game, the Pacers deserved it. I mean, they came out, they were the better team and majority of the games. I mean, the way they played was amazing. You saw round 1 against Milwaukee. They came out against a guy like Giannis Antetokounmpo and just were able to outplay them. Play solid enough defense, run them out the gym, use the Bucks not having good role players to their advantage. That Game 5 was just a legendary in the league. Tyrese Halliburton really put on. Then you go up against a Cavalier team that won, 60 games in the regular season, number 1 seed in the East, that just came off whooping the Miami Heat. You steal Game 1 in an amazing game. You come back from down 20 to win Game 2, and Tyrese Halliburton has his moment. Then you win a huge Game 4 where you absolutely were up by 40, and then be able to take care of business on the road in Game 5. Just come out and being better. And then this series against the Knicks team, you steal Game 1, down 20 or down 17, you come back and steal Game 1 at home. You win Game 2 in a close game. You blow a Game 3, but you come back, win Game 4, and now you went to the way they've been able to play this series, this playoffs, they've been able to still take all the stuff they do in the regular season, be able to apply it to the playoffs. I said it, I think, was it last game? I don't remember. I think I said it last game or the game before or something like that. The Pacers team, the way they play, is literally like the exact opposite of what you think playoff basketball is. Playoff basketball, when you think about it, traditionally is supposed to be kind of like a slow down half court. Whose half court is going to be better? How many plays can you execute? How can your star player put the team on the back? What role players are going to show up? Kind of a calm, good defensive team. Pacers do the opposite of that. Pacers are going to run off made baskets, made layups. They're going to run back and get an easy layup on the other end. They don't care about pushing the ball and going high, and they're going to turn the ball over sometimes maybe on that. That happens, but that's how we play. We're going to run. Tyrese Halliburton is their star player, he doesn't really need to have 35 points and 10 assists for them to be in games. The way he's been able to control the game or he get everybody involved, you know, like they can comfortably go out and run a 10-man rotation. There's been games in this playoffs where they comfortably ran 10 guys 10 plus minutes. Usually by this point, you get to like a 7 or 8 guy that you really trust, and your starters are going to play 45 minutes at the bare minimum. No. Look at the starter tonight. Only 3 starters played 30 minutes. They had 2 starters play 19 and 21 minutes and were just okay. Because you had Obi Toppin play 25 minutes. Ben Shepherd could play 20 minutes. Thomas Bryant could play 13 minutes. TJ McConnell could play 13 minutes. Brandon Mathurin, who has been amazing last 2 games, only played 8 minutes tonight because we could throw Thomas Bryant in there and we could throw Joyce Walker in there, who hasn't played all series, all playoffs long, but we threw him in the last 2 games because we know he can do it. Tony Bradley wasn't a player at all. I forgot Tony Bradley was on this team. And he just got thrown into the final, to the conference finals, just like, hey, we need some big man to play. Here you go. He's consistently getting 10, 11 minutes. Like, just being able to play all those guys, be able to keep this kind of thing going. Rick Carlisle's been coaching his butt off in this series, in this playoffs, and then Tyrese Halliburton showing up and being amazing. I mean, Tyrese Halliburton has been just everything you could want and more. You know, he might not have the craziest numbers or, you know, be maybe what traditional superstars and number 1 options are like in the normal NBA when you have guys like Shai Alexander and Jalen Brunson and Anthony Edwards, guys that are high level scorer, gonna have the ball in their hands 90% of the time, look to score, gonna have 35-point games. Like, it's not traditional like that anymore, but he still finds his way to be a superstar with his scoring and his playmaking ability and not putting his team in a bad position. You know, there are very, very, very few times where Tyrese Halliburton does not put his team in a position to win. You know, and then you have guys like Pascal Siakam, all-star level player who can have nights where he drops for 30. You know, Adrian Nembhard can have a game where he hits 5 threes. Aaron Nesmith has been amazing on both ends. He's been shooting the heck out of the ball. You know, Miles Turner can do big. And then you have your bench that can come in and give you 20 minutes if you need to. You can have, they have 3 or 4 separate guys that can come off the bench and give you a 20, 25-minute night if you really need it. And that's a big factor, especially in these playoffs where you saw, in these playoffs specifically, star player just doesn't equal success. You need a team, you need a structure, a scheme, some players you can trust. Indiana has all that. And so they've been the best team in the playoffs in the Eastern Conference by far. They've just been doing it, and now they're rightfully deserved Eastern Conference champions. And they're going to go against the OKC Thunder, which is a huge matchup. I'm going to preview that series probably next week. I'm going to do a preview of that series. But no matter what happens for Indiana, honestly, win, lose, whatever happens, this is a heck of a season for the Pacers. An amazing run. Probably one of the most fun playoff runs I've seen from a single team in a little while, man. I mean, this is one of the most fun, chaotic, unexpected, like, team going on a run to the NBA Finals we've probably seen I don't remember, like last year, Boston you expected. Dallas was fun, you know, but they're still a very, very good team. Um, 2023 with the Miami Heat, I guess, was a fun one from the 8th seed going all the way to the finals, I guess. But even, I mean, you had the Jimmy Butler 56 points and beating the Bucks. But even then, like this team has had more I mean, you've had a moment in every series where it's like, what the heck? Like the game 5 elimination game against Milwaukee, down 7 with 40 seconds left, come back and win to eliminate the Bucks. The game 2, down 20, come back and win. Halliburton hits the shot, you know, to come back. And then this series, game 1, you're down 17, you come back all the way back and force overtime, or Halliburton hits that shot, and you win that game. And so many other games. Aaron Nesmith hitting 6 threes in 5 minutes, like just so many different like this is a run. We're gonna go back in 5-10 years and be like, dang, remember that Pacers team with Halliburton and Siakam and Nesmith, and they went all the way to the NBA Finals. Like, remember when, Halliburton hit that first free throw, hit that shot, and did the Sam Cassell. Remember in that game against the Knicks in New York, where Halliburton did the choke and they went to overtime and Aaron Nesmith hit that many threes. You remember that? Like, it's gonna be one of those runs where you look back in 5-10 years and be like, dang, I remember that team. That was so fun. Like, it's gonna be one of those teams, and it's awesome to get to see that, especially for a Pacer team. Like, again, this is the first Pacers finals appearance since 2000. I mean, a small market, two finals teams, OKC and Indiana, who haven't been in this position in a while. That don't really see this type of position and this type of love and coverage and that often. So being able to see both these teams do get out in the NBA Finals, on this floor is just like awesome to see. And yeah, I cannot wait for it to start, man. But yeah, so we have to say, hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you enjoyed the content around here, consider subscribing, liking, turn on notifications, doing all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. It really helps out a lot. Once again, I'm on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so I'll support it on channel. Very much appreciated. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.